Oxford Josh, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? Okay. And Sean, thank you for posting those. Let me pin those. Hello, hi YouTube. I'm just pinning a couple messages. Okay, regardless of which chat you're in, there should be a pinned message with a link to the book that we're reading in case you would like to read along with me. If you like to follow along on the page as I'm reading. Hello everyone. Hi. Hello, hello. We are back. We are back with more of Behind a Mask, which we started last stream a couple days ago. We read 3 chapters. It would be awesome if we could get through another 3 chapters tonight and also next stream. But let me talk to you a little bit about the schedule before we jump in, because this does affect YouTube as well. As some of you know, I have touched on this. I'm not going into details, but I've got some personal life stuff that is overwhelming and affecting scheduling a bit. Now, I am not planning to cancel any streams, but I do have to go back out of town. So, basically, tonight is our Sunday night stream. Monday night, aka tomorrow night, I'm planning to do a bonus stream for Mythology Monday, because the day after that is actually St. Patrick's Day, but we usually do our mythology streams on Mondays, so I figured we'll welcome in St. Patrick's Day with some more Irish legends, which, as you guys all know, is my favorite. So we're going to be reading Irish mythology tomorrow night, Monday night, the 16th. Tuesday, it would be so rad if we could finish this book on Tuesday, because then I'm going out of town, and then the Thursday stream and the Sunday stream and probably the next Tuesday, we'll see, are going to be laptop streams. So I will be sticking to my schedule, but I don't think I'll be able to multi-stream. I mean, hell, I could try it, but I do not think that my laptop can handle multi-streaming. Mr. Video Creator, hello. Hello. Well, I am actually a dragon, Mr. Video Creator, so... Hi, Rahul. And also, Sean Fidge, Artax Deep Fried, thank you for watching over on YouTube. It's so appreciated. Yes, you can hear the little girly pops in the background. They're just munching away. We've already read the Toynbee was that last year? Did we read the actual Toynbee, or did I just talk about it? I know that because we've done Irish mythology a couple of times. I think the first time we did Cycle of Invasions, the coming of the Milesians to Ireland, and how they kind of won over the Tuatha Dé Danann, who kind of became suppressed and went underground and became the fairies. And I know that we read stories from the Red Branch cycle, or the Ulster cycle, about Cuchulainn. And I know part of the Red Branch cycle is the Toynbee, and I know I've talked about it. I don't know if I've read the actual, it's quite long. But I was thinking, one thing we haven't touched on is Finn McCool. We've talked about him, but we haven't actually, we read a story about Oisin, who is Finn McCool's son, but we haven't read Finn McCool. So I thought tomorrow we'd read some stories about Finn McCool. This happens later, like after the Ulster cycle, But Fimicol is a very important character in Irish mythology. So, hi Jesseline, hello, hello, hello. Hi Vampy. I am, yes, thank you for stopping. Thank you so much. Yes, I really, really, really appreciate anyone watching over on YouTube. The little TLDR is that I've been streaming for like, I don't know, like 3.5 years on Twitch, but not very long on YouTube, and so I am working towards unlocking the YouTube partner program, so anyone who can sub and watch over there, it helps me so, so, so much. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, anyways, that is, so we're gonna, Irish mythology tomorrow night, hopefully finishing Behind a Mask on Tuesday night, and then there's gonna be a few streams which are more just gonna be cozy ASMR just chatting streams. Said boxes, bonjour. So if you are someone watching on YouTube and you don't want to miss any content, make sure you're subbed to the Twitch channel, because that is the one that I will be going live on. I don't think I can multi-stream, so yeah. So I'll be going live. If you just want to catch me, it won't be reading a book. It'll be doing ASMR and hanging out, but make sure you're subbed to Twitch if you want to catch my content. Irish apology. No. Hello. Hi, Masala. Hello. Alright, does that sound good? Hi, Cook. Does that sound good? I'll remind you guys all at the end, but I wanted to mention it now because it does affect the YouTube schedule. When I had to go out of town recently, it affected the YouTube schedule, so just letting you guys know. Okay. But yes, you get 3 nights of streaming in a row now, so hopefully that helps. Where am I from? I'm Canadian. Okay, let's dive into the reading. Oh, sorry. I had everything open and then my computer crashed right before streaming. So I'm just reopening Kindle. I've had a lot of tech problems. Yeah. I'm so excited to read more Irish mythology, you guys. It's my favorite. It's what got me into mythology in the first place, so. I'll be drinking Irish whiskey and drambuie tomorrow evening. The time of year mythology? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So we will be, like, welcoming in St. Patrick's Day. Because then Tuesday is our normal stream night. That Tuesday is technically St. Patrick's Day, but I want to finish this book hopefully, because then there might be like a week before we can read again. She's draconian. I don't believe the Canadian cover up. I mean, yeah, look, I was born before Canada was a country. So being Canadian is kind of a newer identity that I've adopted. Can a dragon really claim a certain citizenship? I don't know. You're happy it's on a weekday? How come? Canada is a country. Artax, thank you for those 100 biddies, and Taco Cat for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you. You loathe drinking holidays, that's fair. Geese are dragons. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they are kind of distant cousins of dragons, absolutely. Hi, Parathas. Okay, you guys, let's get into. But recap. Last stream, we started reading a book called Behind a Mask, or A Woman's Power. It is a novel by Bernard. A.M. Bernard, which was a pen name for Louisa May Alcott because it was very difficult to be a successful writer at the time if you were a woman. So she was definitely not alone in having either a man's name as a pen name or just gender ambiguous initials. Yeah. So we read the first few chapters and I'm really enjoying it. Basically what is going on here is we've got a rich family, the Coventrys, okay? They've got a huge estate. We're in England, okay? And they have hired a new governess to basically be the governess to their daughter, who is 16, which feels like pretty old to be getting a governess. Not to have one still, but usually governesses would be hired when they were much younger, but they're kind of at this point where they're like, she's gonna have to like go out into society soon and she doesn't know all the proper mannerisms. She needs to basically, let's brush her up before we introduce her to society, because although they are a wealthy and prestigious family, they're also kind of isolated in this estate in the country, right? So they hire Miss Muir. And as far as they can tell, Miss Muir is a well-educated, well-mannered young woman who says that she's 19, that she left her previous post because of, and she doesn't go into details, but she hints that it's because of a young man there, and that the way she says it is like as if was saying that like a young man was pursuing her and she didn't want to get involved and have it like derail her life. Everyone's respecting her for this, right? But behind the scenes, and we are let in on this secret in chapter 1, we see her go to her room on the first night. Oh my god. Connor? Okay, I'm guessing this is Huntsman Connor. I'm guessing that you changed your username. Connor! Holy shit. Thank you for that tier 3 sub. 13 months of tier 3. Connor, you absolute king legend. Thank you. That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you so much. How are you doing? That's huge. Connor, if you're still around once we're done the reading section and we go back into ASMR, I would absolutely love to do a name trace or trigger for you. It's gotta be the same Connor. Because I've never seen that username before, but this is a multiple month sub, so I'm guessing it's the other Connor, yeah. Hi Mark on YouTube. Hello. Hi Brania. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Welcome in. You just joined. Welcome. Your 2-year anniversary was last stream, and you might have been asleep. I'm not sure, Artax, but thank you and congrats on 2 years. Oh my god. Hi, good fellow. Good evening, whispering siren of auditory enchantment of my heart. Oh, hello. The huntsman had to die for a beauty killer to rise. Alright, I'm here for the ride. Best online book club ever. Hell yeah. So basically we see her go to her room on her first night at the Coventry's estate, right? She goes in, she wipes off a bunch of makeup, she takes out false teeth, And it is revealed that she is not a, well-educated, she is well-educated. She does know this shit for real. She is a talented, but she's like 30 years old, and she's an actress. That is her profession. And we don't know yet what her goal is of being there. And the fact that there is this dramatic irony is what it's called, where the audience or the reader knows something that the characters don't. That's called dramatic irony. We know this. We know she's a fraud. We know she's trying to do something. She has a purpose for being there, right? And the characters don't know. And it adds this tension to what would otherwise be like a mid-plot. It's a new governess, and she's settling in, and they like her a lot. One of the brothers falls in love with her, but she turns him down. The older brother did not like her at first, and she's winning him over. She is so good at reading people and giving them exactly what they want, or like how to like hook them, you know? Hi Cayman, welcome to chat. Hello. Also Big Pat, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Thank you, thank you. Hi Peace All Night. Hi Melchior. Sorry if I've missed anyone, but hello Damien. Yeah, please English, but welcome. You might fall asleep. That is totally okay, Masala. That's totally okay. Oh, Connor. Oof. Oof. Well, I'm glad emotionally, mentally you're good. It's very good to see you. Hi, Remy. Okay. So, that's where we're at. We don't know what her game is. Because we've already had the second son offer to marry her. And that already would be like a decent, if she was just in it to be like a basic gold digger. We don't know if it's because she's trying to gold dig to like the heir, the older brother. She also kind of flirted with like their uncle, who I think is the current like owner of the estate. Like, anyways, that's where we're at. I'm hooked because there's just this weird like social tension, which I'm a big fan of. So, all right. Gross. Okay, let's get into it. Thank you, Connor. Alessia, thank you. Welcome in. And of course, I hate saying all this shit because it's a new thing. You don't have to say this shit on Twitch, but if you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying it and you want to drop a sub or whatever, that would be so appreciated. What was the mysterious drink? It is a mixture of just flavored water with some Ghost energy drink. I just really like drinking out of goblets. It feels fancy. Okay. So again, if you'd like to read along, check the pinned comment in your chat and you'll be able to download or open this book for absolutely free. And we are starting on chapter 4. Got you on both just your list. Oh, Dragon, thank you. I appreciate that. If you hear chit-chatting in the background, those noises, those are my guinea pigs. They're fine. I don't know what Really? You're fine, Nim. There's no drama going on. Okay. Hi, Cordy. Hello. Okay. Let's dive on in. Can you see my pets? Okay, unfortunately, so yes, but not in vertical. I don't I do have a pet cam, but it's not in vertical mode. It's only in the horizontal stream. Hi albino, hello. Wiley. Taco Cat, thank you for those 100 biddies. Thank you. Okay, I will show the guinea pigs quickly. You won't be able to see it if you're watching in vertical, but I don't know if you can see them. Nim is eating hay at the back. Nim's in the back eating hay. Digging for something. What are you digging for? Oh, they're both back there, yeah. Anyway. Hi, Echo. Hi, Sanka. Hello. What happened to my voice? Nothing. This is just my voice. Hold them in your hands. I do sometimes. I bring them out to the microphone. Okay. All right. Chapter 4. A discovery. For several days, Coventry was confined to his room, much against his will, though everyone did their best to lighten his irksome captivity. His mother petted him, Bella sang, Lucia read, Edward was devoted, and all the household, with one exception, were eager to serve the young master. Jean Muir never came near him, and Jean Muir alone seemed to possess the power of amusing him. He soon tired of the others, wanted something new, recalled the piquant character of the girl, and took a fancy into his head that she would lighten his ennui. After some hesitation, he carelessly spoke of her to Bella, but nothing came of it, for Bella only said Jean was well, and very busy doing something lovely to surprise Mamma with. Edward complained that he never saw her, and Lucia ignored her existence altogether. The only intelligence the invalid received was from the gossip of 2 housemaids over their work in the next room. From them he learned that the governess had been scolded by Miss Beaufort for going to Mr. Coventry's room, that she had taken it very sweetly and kept herself carefully out of the way of both young gentlemen, though it was plain to see that Mr. Ned was dying for her. So again, Ned, or Edward, is the younger brother who proposed to Jean, who turned him down, and he thought that she turned him down because she was in love with his older brother, and so he stabbed his older brother with a pair of garden shears, cut his artery. He almost bled out to death, except for Jean knew how to tie a tourniquet. And it was much more violent and dramatic than I was expecting in this book. Anyways, that is why Gerald Coventry is in bed. Edward, yep. Mr. Gerald amused himself by thinking over this gossip, and quite annoyed his sister by his absence of mind. Gerald, you do know Ned's commission has come? Very interesting. Read on, Bella. You stupid boy. You don't know a word I say. And she put down the book to repeat her news. I'm glad of it. Now we must get him off as soon as possible. That is, I suppose he will want to be off as soon as possible. And Coventry woke up from his reverie. Neckerpiece, thank you for the follow. You needn't check yourself. I know all about it. I think Ned was very foolish, and that Miss Muir has behaved beautifully. It's quite impossible, of course, but I wish it wasn't. I do so like to watch lovers. You and Lucy are so cold. You're not a bit interesting. You'll do me a favor if you'll stop all that nonsense about Lucia and me. We're not lovers. Never shall be, I fancy. At all events, I'm tired of the thing, and wish you and Mamma would let it drop. For the present, at least. Oh, Gerald, you know Mamma has her heart set upon it. That Papa has desired it, and poor Lucia loves you so much. How can you speak of dropping what will make us all so happy? It won't make me happy, and I take the liberty of thinking that this is of some importance. I'm not bound in any way, and don't intend to be till I am ready. Now, we'll talk about Ned. Much grieved and surprised, Bella obeyed and devoted herself to Edward, who very wisely submitted to his fate and prepared to leave home for some months. Welcome back, foot job. Got a little foot job in chat. For a week, the house was in a state of excitement about his departure, and everyone but Jean was busied for him. She was scarcely seen. Every morning she gave Bella her lessons. Every afternoon drove out with Mrs. Coventry, and nearly every evening went up to the hall to read to Sir John, who found his wish granted without exactly knowing how it had been done. The day Edward left, he came down from bidding his mother goodbye, looking very pale, for he had lingered in his sister's little room with Miss Muir as long as he dared. Goodbye, dear. Be kind to Jean, he whispered as he kissed his sister. I will, returned Bella with tearful eyes. Take care of Mamma, and remember Lucia, he said again, as he touched his cousin's beautiful cheek. Fear nothing. I will keep them apart, she whispered back, and Coventry heard it. Edward offered his hand to his brother, saying significantly as he looked him in the eye, I trust you, Gerald. You may, Ned. Then he went, and Coventry tired himself with wondering what Lucia meant. A few days later, he understood. Now Ned is gone, little Muir will appear, I fancy, he said to himself. But little Muir did not appear, and seemed to shun him more carefully than she had done her lover. If he went to the drawing room in the evening, hoping for music, Lucia alone was there. If he tapped at Bella's door, there was always a pause before she opened it, and no sign of Jean appeared, though her voice had been audible when he knocked. If he went to the library, a hasty rustle and the sound of flying feet betrayed that the room was deserted at his approach. In the garden, Miss Muir never failed to avoid him, and if by chance they met in the hall or breakfast room, she passed him with downcast eyes and the briefest, coldest greeting. All of this annoyed him intensely, and the more she eluded him, the more he desired to see her. From a spirit of opposition, he said, and nothing more. It fretted, and yet it entertained him, and he found a lazy sort of pleasure in thwarting the girl's little maneuvers. His patience gave out at last, and he resolved to know what was the meaning of this peculiar conduct. Hi, Skewer, good to see you. Having locked and taken away the key of one door in the library, he waited till Miss Muir went in to get a book for his uncle. Oh, he had heard her speak to Bella of it, knew that she believed him with his mother, and smiled to himself as he stole after her. She was standing in a chair, reaching up, and he had time to see a slender waist, a pretty foot, before he spoke. Can I help you, Miss Muir? She started, dropped several books, and turned scarlet, as she said hurriedly, Thank you, no. I can get the steps. Well, my long arm will be less trouble. I've got but one, and that is tired of being idle, so it is very much at your service. What will you have? You have startled me, so I've forgotten. And Jean laughed nervously as she looked about her, as if planning to escape. I beg your pardon. Wait till you remember, and let me thank you for the enchanted sleep you gave me 10 days ago. I've had no chance yet. You've shunned me so pertinaciously. Oh, indeed. I try not to be rude, but... She checked herself and turned her face away, adding, with an accent of pain in her voice, It is not my fault, Mr. Coventry. I only obey orders. Whose orders? He demanded, still standing so that she could not escape. Don't ask. It is one who has a right to command where you are concerned. Be sure that it is kindly meant, though it may seem folly to us. Nay, don't be angry. Laugh at it as I do, and let me run away, please. She turned and looked down at him with tears in her eyes, a smile on her lips, and an expression half sad, half arch, which was altogether charming. The frown passed from his face, but he still looked grave and said decidedly, No one has a right to command in this house, but my mother or myself. Was it she who bade you avoid me, as if I was a madman or a pest? Oh, don't ask. I promise not to tell, and you would not have me break my word, I know. And still smiling, she regarded him with a look of merry malice, which made any other reply unnecessary. It was Lucia, he thought, and disliked his cousin intensely just then. Artax, thank you for gifting a sub to Skewer. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Yet not a pretty foot. Uh-oh, he's cooked. Lucifer, hello. Ashman, hello. Okay. So keep in mind, this girl is a total fraud. She is acting this whole time. So again, we're asking, what is her goal? What's her game here? Everything she does, every tone of voice or expression is calculated, right? Miss Muir moved as if to step down. He detained her, saying earnestly, yet with a smile, Do you consider me the master here? Yes. And to the word she gave a sweet, submissive intonation which made it expressive of the respect, regard, and confidence which men find pleasantest when women feel and show it. Unconsciously his face softened, and he looked up at her with a different glance from any he had ever given her before. Hi, Elise, fellow redhead. Heck yeah. How's it going, Elise? Well then, will you consent to obey me if I am not tyrannical or unreasonable in my demands? I'll try. Good. Now, frankly, I want to say that all this sort of thing is very disagreeable to me. It annoys me to be a restraint upon anyone's liberty or comfort, and I beg you will go and come as freely as you like, and not mind Lucia's absurdities. She means well, but hasn't a particle of penetration or tact. Will you promise this? No. Why not? It is better as it is, perhaps. But you called it folly just now. Yes, it seems so. And yet... She paused, looking both confused and distressed. Coventry lost patience and said hastily, You women are such enigmas, I never expect to understand you. Well, I've done my best to make you comfortable, but if you prefer to lead this sort of life, I beg you will do so. I don't prefer it. It is hateful to me. I like to be myself, to have my liberty and the confidence of those about me, but I cannot think it kind to disturb the peace of anyone, and so I try to obey. I've promised Bella to remain, but I will go rather than have another scene with Miss Beaufort or with you. Miss Muir had burst out impetuously and stood there with a sudden fire in her eyes, sudden warmth and spirit in her face and voice that amazed Coventry. She was angry, hurt, and haughty, and the changes only made her more attractive, for not a trace of her former meek self remained. Coventry was electrified, and still more surprised when she added, imperiously, with a gesture as if to put him aside, Hand me that book and move away. I wish to go." He obeyed, even offered his hand, but she refused it, stepped lightly down and went to the door. There she turned, and with the same indignant voice, the same kindling eyes and glowing cheeks, she said rapidly, "I know I have no right to speak in this way. I restrain myself as long as I can, but when I can bear no more, my true self breaks loose and I defy everything. I am tired of being a cold, calm machine. It is impossible with an ardent nature like mine, and I shall try no longer. I cannot help it if people love me. I don't want their love. I only ask to be left in peace, and why I am tormented so, I cannot see. I've neither beauty, money, nor rank, yet every foolish boy mistakes my frank interest for something warmer, and makes me miserable. It is my misfortune. Think of me what you will, but beware of me in time, for against my will I may do you harm." Almost fiercely had she spoken, and with a warning gesture she hurried from the room, leaving the young man feeling as if a sudden thunder gust had swept through the house. For several minutes he sat in the chair she left, thinking deeply. Suddenly he rose, went to his sister, and said, in his usual tone of indolent good nature, "Bella, didn't I hear Ned ask you to be kind to Miss Muir?" "Yes, and I try to be, but she is so odd lately." "Odd? How do you mean?" "Why, she is either as calm and cold as a statue, or restless and queer. She cries at night, I know, and sighs sadly when she thinks I don't hear. Something is the matter." "She frets for Ned, perhaps?" began Coventry. "Oh dear, no. It's a great relief to her that he is gone. I'm afraid that she likes someone very much, and someone don't like her. Can it be Mr. Sidney?" "She called him a titled fool once, but perhaps that didn't mean anything. Did you ever ask her about him?" said Coventry, feeling rather ashamed of his curiosity, yet unable to resist the temptation of questioning unsuspecting Bella. "Yes, but she only looked at me in her tragical way and said so pitifully, 'My little friend, I hope you will never have to pass through the scenes I've passed through, but keep your peace unbroken all your life.' After that I dared say no more. I'm very fond of her. I want her to be happy, but I don't know how. Can you propose anything?" "Well, I was going to propose that you make her come among us more. Now Ned is gone. It must be dull for her, moping about alone. Well, I'm sure it is for me. She is an entertaining little person, and I enjoy her music very much. It's good for Mamma to have gay evenings. So you bestir yourself and see what you can do for the general good of the family." "That's all very charming, and I've proposed it more than once, but Lucia spoils all my plans. She's afraid you'll follow Ned's example. That is so silly." "Lucia is a... No, I won't say fool, because she has sense enough when she chooses. But I wish you'd just settle things with Mamma, and then Lucia can do nothing but submit," said Gerald angrily. "Hi, James. Well, I'll try, but she goes up to read to Uncle, you know, and since he has had the gout, she stays later, so I see little of her in the evening. There she goes now. I think she will captivate the old one as well as the young one. She is so devoted." Coventry looked after her slender black figure just vanishing through the great gate, and an uncomfortable fancy took possession of him, born of Bella's careless words. He sauntered away, and after eluding his cousin, who seemed looking for him, he turned toward the hall, saying to himself, "I will see what is going on up here. Such things have happened. Uncle is the simplest soul alive, and if the girl is ambitious, she can do what she will with him. Hi, Midas. Hello. Hello, hello. And Lawrence, hello. Jean really plays the play hard to get part well. She does. Now, we don't totally, like, we know that she's faking things, right? But, like, for instance, that scene of, like, anger, where she kind of betrayed, like, showed anger in the library to Gerald, is that also acting? Like, if you're acting 24/7, there could be points where, like, you're unable to hold on to the act. You think that was also an act? I think so too, but I'm not 100% sure. Pretended to let it slip. Yeah, I think you're correct with that. I think it was part of the act, but we don't know 100% sure, right? Which is part of what gives it this kind of, like, tension of, like, we as the reader, we've got this information, but we don't have all the information. We're trying to put the pieces together. Hi, Thunder. Hello. Thank you, Fitch. Here, a servant came running after him and gave him a letter, which he thrust into his pocket without examining it. When he reached the hall, he went quietly to his uncle's study. The door was ajar, and looking in, he saw a scene of tranquil comfort, very pleasant to watch. Sir John leaned in his easy chair with one foot on a cushion. He was dressed with his usual care, and, in spite of the gout, looked like a handsome, well-preserved old gentleman. He was smiling as he listened, and his eyes rested complacently on Jean Weir, who sat near him reading in her musical voice, while the sunshine glittered on her hair and the soft rose of her cheek. She read well, yet Coventry thought her heart was not in her task. For once, when she paused, while Sir John spoke, her eyes had an absent expression, and she leaned her head upon her hand with an air of patient weariness. Hi, Ice Cream Pie. Hi, Josh. Hello, welcome. Thank you for the sub, Josh. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Poor girl. I did her great injustice. She has no thought of captivating the old man, but amuses him from simple kindness. She's tired. I'll put an end to her task. And Coventry entered without knocking. It took 3 weeks to catch a reading. Well, I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight, Midas. Yes, you're absolutely welcome to call Fidge Goddess. Yeah. So yeah, I swear I'm beginning to fall asleep. This may be because of a fine mix of Fel sometimes does ASMR streams and her beautiful... Yes, Parisia, I hope you have a wonderful sleep. If I can get you to drift off, that's wonderful. Oh no, you can't call me goddess, but you can call Fidgety fools around. You can call him a goddess if you'd like, but I'm a dragon, not a goddess. I know. It's a thin line. Okay. Sir John received him with an air of polite resignation. Miss Weir, with a perfectly expressionless face. I'm just checking who. Sorry, I'm just making sure who is. It's not clear who's speaking first. That's Coventry. I don't know who's speaking to who here. let me try to figure this out. Taco Cat, thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you. I think it's Gerald talking to Sir John. Okay. Mother's love, and how are you today, sir?
Oh, comfortable, but dull. So I want you to bring the girls over this evening to amuse the old gentleman. Oh, Miss King has got out the antique costumes and trumpery. As I promised Bella, she should have them. And tonight we are to have a merrymaking, as we used to do when Ned was here.
Very well, sir. I'll bring them. We've all been out of sorts since the lad left. A little jollity will do us good. Are you going back, Miss Muir? Asked Coventry.
No, I shall keep her to give me my tea and get things ready. Oh, don't read any more, my dear, but go and amuse yourself with the pictures, or whatever you like,
said Sir John, and like a dutiful daughter she obeyed, as if glad to get away. Tell him it's on. Hello, do I look different? Did I just do my hair differently? Queen Elizabeth, thank you for the follow. Goodness. Hi Mohammed. Hi Kella. Hello. Yes. Yeah, DJ, that is where we worship Fidge. Okay. Sorry, that was tricky to figure out who was talking to whom, because Sir John says the old gentleman, but I think he's talking about himself in the third person there, which is very confusing. Okay.
Was a very charming girl, Gerald,
began Sir John as she left the room.
I'm much interested in her, both on her own account and on her mother's.
Her mother's? What do you know of her mother? Asked Coventry, much surprised.
Well, her mother was Lady Grace Howard, who ran away with a poor Scotch minister 20 years ago. The family cast her off, and she lived and died so obscurely that very little is known of her except that she left an orphan girl at some small French pension. This is the girl, and a fine girl, too. I'm surprised that you did not know this.
So am I, but it is like her not to tell. She's a strange, proud creature. Lady Howard's daughter. Upon my word, that is a discovery. And Coventry felt his interest in his sister's governess much increased by this fact, for, like all well-born Englishmen, he valued rank and gentle blood even more than he cared to own. She had a hard life of it, this poor little girl, but she has a brave spirit and will make her way anywhere, said Sir John admiringly. Did Ned know this? Asked Gerald suddenly. No, she only told me yesterday. I was looking in the peerage and chanced to speak of the Howards. She forgot herself and called Lady Grace her mother. Then I got the whole story, for the lonely little thing was glad to make a confidant of someone. And that accounts for her rejection of Sidney and Ned. She knows that she is their equal, and will not snatch at the rank which is hers by right. No, she's not mercenary or ambitious. What do you say? Asked Sir John, for Coventry had spoken more to himself than to his uncle. I wonder if Lady Sidney was aware of all this, was all Gerald's answer. No, Jean said she did not wish to be pitied, and so told nothing to the mother. I think the son knew. That was a delicate point, and I asked no questions. I shall write to him as soon as I discover his address. Oh, we've been so intimate, I can venture to make a few inquiries about Miss Muir and prove the truth of her story. Oh, do you mean to say that you doubt it? Demanded Sir John angrily. Oh, I beg your pardon, uncle, but I must confess I have an instinctive distrust of that young person. It is unjust, I dare say, yet I cannot banish it. Oh, don't annoy me by expressing it, if you please. I have some penetration and experience, and
I respect and pity Miss Muir heartily. This dislike of yours may be the cause of her late melancholy. Eh, Gerald? And Sir John looked suspiciously at his nephew. Anxious to avert the rising storm, Coventry said hastily as he turned away, "I have neither time nor inclination to discuss the matter now, sir, but we'll be careful not to offend again. I'll take your message to Bella, so goodbye for an hour, uncle." And Coventry went his way through the park, thinking within himself, "The dear old gentleman is getting fascinated, like poor Ned. How the deuce does the girl do it? Lady Howard's daughter, yet never told us? I don't understand that." End of chapter. Thank you, mods. Thank you so much. YouTube chat is wild. Another September. Hello. My hair matches the color of a rose. Well, I'm not in the garden right now, unless, you know, a library is a kind of garden. Yes, we can show the pigs. Again, this will not show up on vertical, but if you're watching the horizontal stream, you'll be able to see the pigs. Well, they're not very visible right now. They're not very visible right now. We can check on them later. You don't have to join the vertical if you don't want to. Totally dependent. They are separate chats, which is kind of weird, but you suck it out, yeah. Trafitrax? Am I saying that right? Hello. And Sanoop, hello. Okay. Alright. Ooh, okay. Your fingers are all colorful? Heck yeah. You're chilling on the stove drawer. Huh? What? Oh, your name! I pictured you, like, sitting in the drawer of the oven. Which gave, like... Have you ever read the book, I Capture the Castle? With the iconic first sentence, "I write this sitting in the kitchen sink." It was like that kind of vibes. I'm chatting, sitting in the oven drawer. Hi, Red Pyramid. Hello. Okay. Yeah, not my drawers. That's very different. It's very different. Okay. Chapter 5. How the Girl Did It. At home, he found a party of young friends who hailed with delight the prospect of a revel at the hall. An hour later, the blithe company trooped into the great saloon, where preparations had already been made for a dramatic evening. Good Sir John was in his element, for he was never so happy as when his house was full of young people. Several persons were chosen, and in a few moments the curtains were withdrawn from the first of these impromptu tableaux. A swarthy, darkly bearded man lay asleep on a tiger skin in the shadow of a tent. Oriental arms and drapery surrounded him. An antique silver lamp burned dimly on the table where fruit lay heaped in costly dishes, and wine shone redly in half-emptied goblets. Bending over the sleeper was a woman robed with barbaric splendor. One hand turned back the embroidered sleeve from the arm which held a scimitar. One slender foot in a scarlet sandal was visible under the white tunic. Her purple mantle swept down from snowy shoulders. Fillets of gold bound her hair, and jewels shone on neck and arms. She was looking over her shoulder toward the entrance of the tent with a steady yet stealthy look, so effective that for a moment the spectators held their breath, as if they also heard a passing footstep. "Who is it?" whispered Lucia,
for the face was new to her. Jean Muir, answered Coventry with an absorbed look.
Impossible. She is small and fair, began Lucia, but a hasty "Hush, let me look" from her cousin silenced her.
Oh, I think that was him. Hush, let me look. From her cousin silenced her. Impossible as it seemed, he was right, nevertheless, for Jane Muir it was. She had darkened her skin, painted her eyebrows, disposed some wild black locks over her fair hair, and thrown such an intensity of expression into her eyes that they darkened and dilated till they were as fierce as any southern eyes that ever flashed. Starva. Hatred, the deepest and bitterest, was written on her sternly beautiful face. Courage glowed in her glance. Power spoke in the nervous grip of the slender hand that held the weapon, and the indomitable will of the woman was expressed, even in the firm pressure of the little foot half hidden in the tiger skin. Damn! Again with the feet. All right. Louisa May. Did you like lady feet? She's a foot gal.
Oh, isn't she splendid? Cried Bella under her breath. She looks as if she'd use her sword well when the time comes, said someone admiringly.
Good night, Holofernes. His fate is certain, added another. Okay, so I think what's happening here is it's a party for rich kids at this estate. They've had some friends over, and the servants, including Jean Muir, are putting on a tableau, which I think just means like posing in a scene in costume. But it's not like acting out a scene, it's just like posing like a living painting is what I think is happening here. And since they mention Holofernes, which I feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but I think that means would she be dressed up as Judith? Isn't that a story from the Bible? Judith beheads him, right? Am I saying this right? And there's a famous painting. There's actually several famous paintings. An invading Assyrian general in the Book of Judith who was beheaded by Judith, who entered his camp and decapitated him while he was intoxicated. Yeah. Because he was about to, like, destroy her home. So she and her lady's maid snuck into his tent and killed him. So it sounds like Jean Muir is dressed up like Judith. Hi, Slom. Hello. Hello, welcome. Artemis Kane, hello, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Glad you came back to hang out. Okay. Here's the image of Sydney with that beard on.
Doesn't she look as if she really hated him?
Perhaps she does. Coventry uttered the last exclamation, for the two which preceded it suggested an explanation of the marvelous change in Jean. It was not at all art, well, the intense detestation mingled with the savage joy that the object of her hatred was in her power was too perfect to be feigned, and having the key to a part of her story, Coventry felt as if he caught a glimpse of the truth. It was but a glimpse, however, for the curtain dropped before he had half analyzed the significance of that strange face. He's not considering the I'm just moving that camera. the idea that she's an actress. He's like, wow, that was really good. That's gotta mean something. That's too convincing to be feigned. Yeah. Horrible. I'm glad it's over, said Lucia coldly. Magnificent! Encore! Encore! Cried Gerald enthusiastically. But the scene was over, and no applause could recall the actress. 2 or 3 graceful or gay pictures followed, but Jean was in none, and each lacked the charm which real talent lends to the simplest part. Coventry, you're wanted, called a voice, and to everyone's surprise, Coventry went, though heretofore he had always refused to exert himself when handsome actors were in demand. What part am I to spoil? He asked as he entered the green room, where several excited young gentlemen were costuming and attitudinizing. A fugitive cavalier, put yourself into this suit and lose no time asking questions. Miss Muir will tell you what to do. She is in the tableau, so no one will mind you, said the manager pro tem, throwing a rich old suit toward Coventry and resuming the painting of a mustache on his own boyish face. A gallant cavalier was the result of Gerald's hasty toilet, and when he appeared before the ladies, a general glance of admiration was bestowed upon him. It is a good word, Rachel. Come along and be placed. Jean is ready on the stage. Oh, wait. Come along and be placed. Jean is ready on the stage. And Bella ran before him, exclaiming to her governess, Here he is, quite splendid. Wasn't he good to do it? Miss Muir, in the charmingly prim and puritanical dress of a Roundhead damsel, was arranging some shrubs, but turned suddenly and dropped the green branch she held as her eye met the glittering figure advancing toward her. You, she said, with a troubled look, adding low to Bella, why did you ask him? I begged you not. He is the only handsome man here, and the best actor, if he likes. He won't play usually, so make the most of him. And Bella was off to finish powdering her hair for the marriage a la mode. I was sent for and I came. Do you prefer some other person? Asked Coventry, at a loss to understand the half-anxious, half-eager expression of the face under the little cap. It changed to one of mingled annoyance and resignation as she said, It is too late. Please kneel here, half behind the shrubs, put down your hat, and allow me. You are too elegant for a fugitive. As he knelt before her, she disheveled his hair, pulled his lace collar awry, threw away his gloves and sword, and half untied the cloak that hung about his shoulders. That is better. Your paleness is excellent. Nay, don't spoil it. We are to represent the picture which hangs in the hall. I need tell you no more. Now, Roundheads, place yourselves, and then ring up the curtain. With a smile, Coventry obeyed her, for the picture was of 2 lovers, the young cavalier kneeling, with his arm around the waist of the girl, who tries to hide him with her little mantle and presses his head to her bosom in an ecstasy of fear as she glances back at the approaching pursuers. Jean hesitated an instant and shrank a little as his hand touched her. She blushed deeply, and her eyes fell before his. Then, as the bell rang, she threw herself into her part with sudden spirit. One arm half covered him with her cloak, the other pillowed his head on the muslin kerchief folded over her bosom, and she looked backward with such terror in her eyes that more than one chivalrous young spectator longed to hurry to the rescue. It lasted but a moment, yet in that moment, Coventry experienced another new sensation. This is like spicier than I expected. I mean, for a book of this style and of this time. a boner. Coventry's like, what's this? Many women had smiled on him, but he had remained heart-whole, cool, and careless, quite unconscious of the power which a woman possesses and knows how to use for the weal or woe of man. Now, as he knelt there with a soft arm about him, a slender waist yielding to his touch, and a maiden heart throbbing against his cheek, for the first time in his life he felt the indescribable spell of womanhood, and looked the ardent lover to perfection. Just as his face assumed this new and most becoming aspect, the curtain dropped, and clamorous encores recalled him to the fact that Miss Muir was trying to escape from his hold, which had grown painful in its unconscious pressure. He sprang up, half bewildered, and looking as he had never looked before. I don't know who that is. Should I know who that is? She is almost definitely not a maiden, because she's a 30-year-old actress, but he thinks that she's a 19-year-old governess, so he would think that she's a maiden. Which just goes to show that, like, you cannot tell who's a virgin just from looking at them. Hi, Johnny. Good to see you. Hello, hello. And none good. Hi, and barren disaster. Hi, Dizzy. I think she is a very good actress, yeah. He sings Dusty Bibles? Wait, is that the name of a song? Oh, 100% Dizzy, but people still have really weird ideas about it. Okay, I hope Watch Your Mouth Boy is the name of another song, and you're not just, like, shit-talking people. Hi, Humber. Hello. Hi, Sybil. Alright. Okay. Okay. Again, called Sir John, and the young men who played the Roundheads, eager to share in the applause, begged for a repetition in new attitudes. Oh, Russell has betrayed you. We have fired and shot the brave girl, and she lies dying, you know. That will be effective. Try it, Miss Muir, said one. And, with a long breath, Jean complied. The curtain went up, showing the lover still on his knees, unmindful of the captors who clutched him by the shoulder. For at his feet, the girl lay dying. Her head was on his breast now. Her eyes looked full into his, no longer wild with fear, but eloquent with the love which even death could not conquer. The power of those tender eyes thrilled Coventry with a strange delight, and set his heart beating as rapidly as hers had done. She felt his hands tremble, saw the color flash into his cheek, knew that she had touched him at last, and when she rose, it was with a sense of triumph which she found it hard to conceal. Others thought it fine acting. Coventry tried to believe it so, but Lucia set her teeth, and as the curtain fell on that second picture, she left her place to hurry behind the scenes, bent on putting an end to such dangerous play. Several actors were complimenting the mimic lovers. Jean took it merrily, but Coventry, in spite of himself, betrayed that he was excited by something deeper than mere gratified vanity. As Lucia appeared, his manner changed to its usual indifference,
but he could not quench the unwanted fire of his eyes or keep all trace of emotion out of his face. And she saw this with a sharp pang. "I've come to offer my help. You must be tired, Miss Muir. Can I relieve you?" said Lucia hastily. "Yes, thank you. I should be very glad to leave the rest to you and enjoy them from the front." So, with a sweet smile, Jean tripped away, and, to Lucia's dismay, Coventry followed. "I want you, Gerald. Please stay," she cried. "I've done my part. No more tragedy for me tonight." And he was gone before she could entreat or command. There was no help for it. She must stay and do her duty, or expose her jealousy to the quick eyes about her. For a time she bore it, but the sight of her cousin leaning over the chair she had left and chatting with the governess, who now filled it, grew unbearable, and she dispatched a little girl with a message to Miss Muir. "Please, Miss Beaufort wants you for Queen Bess, as you are the only lady with red hair. Will you come?" whispered the child, quite unconscious of any hidden sting in her words. "Yes, dear, willingly, though I'm not stately enough for Her Majesty, nor handsome enough," said Jean, rising with an untroubled face, though she resented the feminine insult. Is the feminine insult just red hair? "Do you want an Essex? I'm all dressed for it," said Coventry, following to the door with a wistful look. "No, Miss Beaufort said you were not to come. She doesn't want you both together," said the child decidedly. Jean gave him a significant look, shrugged her shoulders, and went away, smiling her odd smile, while Coventry paced up and down the hall in a curious state of unrest, which made him forgetful of everything till the young people came gaily out to supper. "Hi, Jude. Am I reading Dungeon Crawler?" Yeah, absolutely. "Come, bonny Prince Charlie, take me down and play the lover as charmingly as you did an hour ago. I never thought you had so much warmth in you," said Bella, taking his arm and drawing him on against his will. Oh no, wait, this is Bella. Sorry, I was reading that as Lucia. "Come, bonny Prince Charlie, take me down and play the lover as charmingly as you did an hour ago. I never thought you had so much warmth in you," said Bella, taking his arm and drawing him on against his will. "Don't be foolish, child. Where is Lucia?" Why he checked Jean's name on his lips and substituted another's, he could not tell, but a sudden shyness in speaking of her possessed him, and though he saw her nowhere, he would not ask for her. His cousin came down looking lovely in a classical costume, but Gerald scarcely saw her, and when the merriment was at its height, he slipped away to discover what had become of Miss Muir. Alone in the deserted drawing room, he found her, and paused to watch her for a moment before he spoke, for something in her attitude and face struck him. She was leaning wearily back in the great chair which had served for a throne. Her royal robes were still unchanged, though the crown was off and all her fair hair hung about her shoulders. Excitement and exertion made her brilliant. The rich dress became her wonderfully, and an air of luxurious indolence changed the meek governess into a charming woman. She leaned on the velvet cushions as if she were used to such support. She played with the jewels which had crowned her as carelessly as if she were born to wear them. Her attitude was full of negligent grace, and the expression of her face half proud, half pensive, as if her thoughts were bittersweet. One would know she was well born to see her now. Poor girl, what a burden a life of dependence must be to a spirit like hers. I wonder what she's thinking of so intently. And Coventry indulged in another look before he spoke. All right. Hi, babe. Hi. Hello, welcome in, readers. Hello, hello. Hey, God of Knockers. Hey, Red Jedi. Hi, Dark Descent. You guys, make sure you're following Beige Nash. Heck yeah. She does awesome fun content over in her community. She does a mixture of just chatting and playing games, and listening to music and just all around hanging out. She is awesome and funny and smart and kind, and you should definitely go and check her out. How was your stream? What were you getting up to? Welcome in, everyone. If you are new here, I'm Faolkor the Book Dragon. We do a mixture here of traditional ASMR, which involves story time, and you have come into our reading segment, and we are reading a book I'm really enjoying. Oh my goodness. Yes. And the plan is to finish this chapter, probably read one more, and then do some ASMR triggers. You talked a lot about Firefly today. Do you think we'll ever get over it? Do you think we'll ever get over, like, the fact it was I don't know if I will. Damn. That's such a good unfinished show. It is a bit spicy, yeah, this novel. Leonardo on YouTube, thank you. Thank you. They're trying to add more Firefly? Animated. Oh, with the original cast as voice. Really? They're working on getting season 2 as an animated show. Wait, that could be sick. I mean, it'll take a bit of adjustment, obviously, but it was just announced today? Okay, so I'm not that out of the loop. Oh my god. Wait, so the original cast is in? Bro. Because I was thinking the only way they could do it is, like, they could either do, like, I don't know, a sequel that happens later. Okay. Babe, I'm so glad you said that. That was the next question I was going to ask. Fillion is producing. Fuck yeah. Okay, this sounds awesome. I'm so excited. Is that the Firefly show will take place in the time frame between the show's end and movie? There are comics that exist in that window, right? I haven't read them all, but I've read some of them. And the comics are considered canon, right? Reaper, thank you for the follow. Nathan Fillion has done great shows. Castle, The Rookies, and superhero movies. Okay. The comics are really good. Yeah, I haven't read them all, but okay, that's really cool. Because it's such a good show. Oh my god. Angel Pirate Forever, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Because I've thought before, like, oh, would they bring it back with just like a new cast, total new cast? Because I don't know about having them older, but the animation, that solves that problem. Damn, do we have... So wait, it isn't guaranteed yet? They're waiting for a network to approve it? Is that where we're at? I wonder what style of animation. Like, obviously, the bar for animation has gone way up with, like, Arcane. Jesus fucking Christ, the art in that is so fucking gorgeous. I wonder what style of animation. He looks like he's been taking Pedro Pascal lessons. What does that mean? He's holding on to his coworkers. Hi, Melissa. Thank you. Can't bring back... Wait, so this is taking place before the movie, though, so Wash will be in it. Wash will be in it. He needs to get a network to pick it up. Dude, networks would be so fucking stupid if they don't pick this up. The amount of outrage over the years at the
the cancellation of the show. Like, if the networks turn it down, they are fucking morons. Wait, did the Buffy reboot get shut down? I heard, like, talk about it, but I didn't know that it got shut down. They have a script, a studio and director, but they don't have anywhere to distribute it. I mean, that's crazy if no one picks it up. There's concept art bag? Oh, okay. Oh, he's got a goatee and rugged. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, Alan Tudyk is epic. Evan or the Raven? Thank you. Oh, the Raven. Is it the Raven? Sorry. I had to like say it out loud to find it. Thank you for the follow. They have a podcast together? What? Okay. I'm a bit out of the loop then. The guy who canceled Firefly originally quit working broadcasting. He moved to a farm just to get away from the online hate. There were a bunch of teasers of Nathan Fillion visiting the cast at their homes saying we're doing this. It's like the Raven, but got it. No, as I started saying it, I was like, oh wait. The Raven. Nice. Hi Sentry. Hello. Okay, but that's so exciting, you guys. Do piercings hurt? Yep. It's a needle going through you. Yeah, if no one picks it up, there was gonna be such a massive societal collective fit thrown. I'm so pumped, angels. You didn't feel your bridge piercing? Really? Okay, I have one piercing. This is it. I don't even have my ears pierced, so I'm going off one experience, and it was horrible. No more piercings. I would get more tattoos, which is kind of weird because technically that's like more sustained pain because it takes a while, whereas piercings are kind of, pop and it's through. But I would rather get another tattoo than another piercing. Ears don't hurt. I have heard other people say different. Nose is okay, and you don't mind the upper part of your lip being. Ooh, like, do you have like a center up, like up here? That's cool. Oh, thank you, Stink Bunger. You'd like to see Nathan Fillion as a mature Nathan Drake for Uncharted? Yeah, he would be good for that, right? A Medusa is like just the dot right here. Oh, okay. I was thinking more like a vertical, like through your upper lip, but yeah, I know what you mean now. Hi, Gentle Tap, good to see you. Your friend's aunt dated or is dating Nathan Fillion at one point? Really? Aw, yeah, I've heard good things about him. Alright. You can hear a fire in the background? Yep. Hi, love. Hi, Ace. And your tattoo didn't hurt? Maybe you have like a really high pain tolerance. Veldop, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Alright, we are going to dive back into our book. Let me give you a quick TLDR, okay? This is written by Louisa May Alcott, better known for writing Little Women. Hold on. Don't go anywhere, dudes. This is there's like a lot of social intrigue in this book. Basically, there's a rich family. They've hired this governess. They think she is a 19-year-old, well-educated, like, orphaned noble girl. But she's actually a 30-year-old actress who at night is like going into her room and like taking out her fake teeth. And we, the readers, know that she is there to do something, con them somehow, but we don't know what her goal is. And so there's all these these scenes, which like on the surface seem like fairly normal social interactions, but there's this tension there because we know that she's acting the whole time and just fucking with all of them. We don't know what her goal is yet. It's very good. It's very good. Hi, Tyra. Wolfrain, thank you for the follow. Beja, thank you again so freaking much for the raid. It is so good to have you guys here. So like I said, we're gonna finish this chapter and then probably read one more after that, and then do just some like cozy hangout with ASMR triggers after that. So it is awesome to have you here. I am also live over on the first of those links. These are my 2 YouTube channels. The first one is where you can find book reading. The second one you can find more like ASMR trigger stuff. I do multi-stream to those, but also if you're looking to catch up on books or listen to some of the books I've read in the past, you can find those there. And I would really appreciate subs and such, because I'm working on unlocking the YouTube partner program. Stop being, oh, they're so freaking, anyway. Okay, all right. And Babs, as always, please feel free to pop out whenever you need to, or hang out. Obviously, I always love having you hang out. Can we peek at the pigs? Yeah, but oh, maybe we can see them now. There's Cloud eating at the bowl. Nim is lying in the hay bin. Would you prefer lurks on portrait or landscape? It does not matter at all. It's absolutely up to you. Like, I do get separate stats for both of them, but in terms of like the cumulative watch hours for my channel needed to unlock the partner program, it all gets put into the same pot. So totally fine. I mean, if you're just pulling up alert, maybe horizontal, because I've been, I have to, I think there's a few that I have to hide, but I've been kind of hiding the vertical ones after the fact. I'm not sure if that's the right method, because those ones get more views, but I don't know, maybe I should just leave them all visible. I don't know. Maybe I should just leave them all visible. I probably should, because they do get more views, and I've just been like unpublishing a few of them, but maybe I should just leave them all there. Thank you, Sean. Okay. All right, let's jump back in. So what's happening right now is there is a rich kids party going on at this estate in England. And, oh, Frayne. Oh, I'm so glad you like it here. I'm glad that you got rated in then. You can sort them into separate. I'm only putting the horizontal ones into playlists, but I mean, I could make playlists for the vertical, but then that's just, I don't know, that feels like a lot of playlists of like the same book, you know? So, all right. So yes, they're at this rich kids party basically. I love a turtle. Where they are taking turns getting into costume and then basically doing like living paintings of like famous paintings, and like a few of them will kind of like act out a painting but holding a pose, right? Doing tableau, as it were. And the oldest son of this rich family, the Coventry family, is starting to have feelings for Miss Jean Weir, the governess that he doesn't know is an actress. Hi, Lady Sauron. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. So he's looking for Jean, and she is sitting alone in a room, kind of exhausted, and she's just like sprawled on a chair, dressed up as a queen because they've been putting on costumes and everything, and he's like staring at her for a moment before speaking. Okay. And Coventry indulged in another look before he spoke. "Shall I bring you some supper, Miss Moyer?" "Supper?" she ejaculated with a start. Sorry. Okay, finally. We were talking about how Gerald was the only one ejaculating in this book. So finally, Jean has also ejaculated. Well done. Okay. Sorry, let me do that again. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. This is literature. Literature. "Supper," she ejaculated with a start. "Who thinks of one's body when one's soul is—" She stopped there, knit her brows, and laughed faintly as she added, "No, thank you. I want nothing but advice, and that I dare not ask of anyone." "Why not?" "Because I have no right. Everyone has a right to ask help, especially the weak of the strong. Can I help you? Believe me, I most heartily offer my poor services." "You forget. This dress, the borrowed splendor of these jewels, the freedom of this gay evening, the romance of the part you played, all blind you to the reality. For a moment I cease to be a servant. For a moment you treat me as an equal." It was true. He had forgotten. That soft, reproachful glance touched him. His distrust melted under the new charm, and he answered, with real feeling in his voice and face, "I treat you as an equal because you are one, and when I offered help, it is not to my sister's governess alone, but to Lady Howard's daughter." "Who told you that?" she demanded, sitting erect. "My uncle. Do not reproach him. It shall go no further if you forbid it. Are you sorry that I know that?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because I will not be pitied," and her eyes flashed as she made a half-defiant gesture. "Oh, Patricia, thank you. Thank you." "Hi, Lucas." "Then, if I may not pity the hard fate which has befallen an innocent life, may I admire the courage which meets adverse fortune so bravely, and conquers the world by winning the respect and regard of all who see and honor it." Miss Moyer averted her face, put up her hand, and answered hastily, "No, no, not that. Do not be kind. It destroys the only barrier now left between us. Be cold to me as before. Forget what I am, and let me go on my way, unknown, unpitied, and unloved." Her voice faltered and failed as the last word was uttered, and she bent her face upon her hand. Something jarred upon Coventry in this speech, and moved him to say, almost rudely, "You need have no fears for me. Lucia will tell you what an iceberg I am." "Then Lucia would tell me wrong. I have the fatal power of reading character. I know you better than she does, and I see—" There she stopped abruptly. "What? Tell me and prove your skill," he said eagerly. Oh, she has got him wrapped around her finger. She is manipulating him so completely. "Thank you, angels. Thank you." Turning, she fixed her eyes on him with a penetrating power that made him shrink as she said, slowly, "Under the ice, I see fire, and warn you to beware lest it prove a volcano. For a moment, he sat dumb, wondering at the inside of the girl, for she was the first to discover the hidden warmth of a nature too proud to confess its tender impulses, or the ambitions that slept till some potent voice awoke them. The blunt, almost stern manner in which she warned him away from her only made her more attractive, for there was no conceit or arrogance in it, only a foreboding fear emboldened by past suffering to be frank. Suddenly he spoke impetuously. "You are right. I am not what I seem, and my indolent indifference is but the mask under which I conceal my real self. I could be as passionate, as energetic, and aspiring as Ned, if I had any aim in life. I have none, and so I am what you once called me, a thing to pity and despise." "I never said that," cried Jean indignantly. "Not in those words, perhaps, but you looked it and thought it, though you phrased it more mildly. I deserved it, but I shall deserve it no longer. I'm beginning to wake from my disgraceful idleness and long for some work that shall make a man of me. Why do you go? I annoy you with my confessions. Pardon me. They are the first I ever made. They shall be the last." "No, oh no. I am too much honored by your confidence. But is it wise, is it loyal to tell me your hopes and aims? Has not Miss Beaufort the first right to be your confidant?" Coventry drew back, looking intensely annoyed, but the name recalled much that he would gladly have forgotten in the novel excitement of the hour. Lucia's love, Edward's parting words, his own reserve so strangely thrown aside, so difficult to resume. What he would have said was checked by the sight of a half-open letter which fell from Jean's dress as she moved away. Mechanically, he took it up to return it, and as he did so, he recognized Sydney's handwriting. Jean snatched it from him, turning pale to the lips as she cried, "Did you read it? What did you see? Tell me on your honor." "On my honor, I saw nothing but this single sentence. By the love I bear you, believe what I say. No more, as I am a gentleman. Well, I know the hand, I guess the purport of the letter, and as a friend of Sydney, I earnestly desire to help you if I can. Is this the matter upon which you want advice?" "Yes." "Then let me give it." "You cannot, without knowing all, and it is so hard to tell." "Let me guess it, and spare you the pain of telling. May I?" And Coventry waited eagerly for her reply, for the spell was still upon him. "Hi, Princessy and Damdan. Hello, hello." Holding the letter fast, she beckoned him to follow and glided before him to a secluded little nook, half boudoir, half conservatory. There she paused, stood an instant as if in doubt, then looked up at him with confiding eyes and said decidedly, "I will do it, for strange as it may seem, you are the only person to whom I can speak. You know, Sydney, you have discovered that I am an equal. You have offered your help. I accept it, but, oh, do not think me unwomanly. Remember how alone I am, how young, and how much I rely upon your sincerity, your sympathy. Speak freely. I am indeed your friend." And Coventry sat down beside her, forgetful of everything but the soft-eyed girl who confided in him so entirely. Oh, I wonder how much it, like, she's obviously going to be spewing some bullshit here. Like, all of this is so manufactured. Like, she probably dropped that letter on purpose You know, like, damn, she's good. She's good. Okay. Speaking rapidly, Jean went on. You know that Sydney loved me, that I refused him and went away. But you do not know that his importunities nearly drove me wild, that he threatened to rob me of my only treasure, my good name, and that in desperation, I tried to kill myself. Yes, mad, wicked as it was, I did long to end the life which was, at best, a burden, and under his persecution had become a torment. You are shocked, yet what I say is the living truth. Lady Sydney will confirm it. The nurses at the hospital will confess that it was not a fever which brought me there. And here, though the external wound is healed, my heart still aches and burns with the shame and indignation which only a proud woman can feel. She paused and sat with kindling eyes, glowing cheeks, and both hands pressed to her heaving bosom, as if the old insult roused her spirit anew. Coventry said not a word, for surprise, anger, incredulity, and admiration mingled so confusedly in his mind that he forgot to speak. And Jean went on. That wild act of mine convinced him of my indomitable dislike. He went away, and I believed that this stormy love of his would be cured by absence. It is not, and I live in daily fear of fresh entreaties, renewed persecution. His mother promised not to betray where I had gone, but he found me out and wrote to me. The letter I asked you to take to Lady Sydney was a reply to his, imploring him to leave me in peace. You failed to deliver it, and I was glad, for I thought silence might quench hope. All in vain. This is a more passionate appeal than ever, and he vows he will never desist from his endeavors till I give another man the right to protect me. I can do this. I'm sorely tempted to do it, but I rebel against the cruelty. I love my freedom. I have no wish to marry at this man's bidding. What can I do? How can I free myself? Be my friend and help me. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Sobs choked her words, and she clasped her hands imploringly as she turned toward the young man in all abandonment of sorrow, fear, and supplication. Coventry found it hard to meet those eloquent eyes and answer calmly, for he had no experience in such scenes and knew not how to play his part. It is this absurd dress and that romantic nonsense which makes me feel so unlike myself, he thought, quite unconscious of the dangerous power which the dusky room, the midsummer warmth and fragrance, the memory of the romantic nonsense, and most of all, the presence of a beautiful, afflicted woman had over him. His usual self-possession deserted him, and he could only echo the words which had made the strongest impression upon him. You can do this. You are tempted to do it. Is Ned the man who can protect you? No, was the soft reply. Well, who then? Do not ask me. A good and honorable man, one who loves me well and would devote his life to me. One whom once it would have been happiness to marry, but now... There her voice ended in a sigh, and all her fair hair fell down about her face, hiding it in a shining veil. Why not now? This is a sure and speedy way of ending your distress. Is it impossible? In spite of himself, Gerald leaned nearer, took one of the little hands in his own. and pressed it as he spoke, urgently, compassionately, nay, almost tenderly. From behind the veil came a heavy sigh, and the brief answer, "It is impossible." "Why, Jean?" She flung her hair back with a sudden gesture, drew away her hand, and answered, almost fiercely, "Because I do not love him. Why do you torment me with such questions? I tell you I am in a sore strait and cannot see my way. Shall I deceive the good man and secure peace at the price of liberty and truth? Or shall I defy Sydney and lead a life of dread? If he menaced my life, I should not fear, but he menaces that which is dearer than life, my good name. A look, a word can tarnish it. A scornful smile, a significant shrug can do me more harm than any blow. For I am a woman, friendless, poor, and at the mercy of his tongue. Better to have died, and so have been saved the bitter pain that has come now." She sprang up, clasped her hands over her head, and paced despairingly through the little room, not weeping, but wearing an expression more tragical than tears. Still feeling as if he had suddenly stepped into a romance, yet finding a keen pleasure in the part assigned him, Coventry threw himself into it with spirit and heartily did his best to console the poor girl who needed help so much. Going to her, he said, as impetuously as Ned ever did, "Miss Muir, nay, I will say Jean, if that will comfort you. Listen, and rest assured that no harm shall touch you, if I can ward it off. You are needlessly alarmed. Indignant you may well be, but upon my life, I think you wrong Sydney. He is violent, I know, but he is too honorable a man to injure you by a light word, an unjust act. He did but threaten, hoping to soften you. Let me see him or write to him. He is my friend. He will listen to me, of that I am sure." "Be sure of nothing. When a man like Sydney loves and is thwarted in his love, nothing can control his headstrong will. Promise me you will not see or write to him. Much as I fear and despise him, I will submit, rather than any harm should befall you or your brother. You promise me, Mr. Coventry?" He hesitated. She clung to his arm with unfeigned solicitude in her eager, pleading face, and he could not resist it. "I promise. But in return, you must promise to let me give what help I can. And, Jean, never say again that you are friendless." "You are so kind. God bless you for it. But I dare not accept your friendship. She will not permit it. I have no right to mar her peace." "Who will not permit it?" he demanded hotly. "Miss Beaufort." "Hang Miss Beaufort!" exclaimed Coventry, with such energy that Jean broke into a musical laugh, despite her trouble. He joined in it, and for an instant they stood looking at one another as if the last barrier were down, and they were friends indeed. Jean paused suddenly, with the smile on her lips, the tears still on her cheek, and made a warning gesture. He listened. The sound of feet mingled with calls and laughter proved that they were missed and sought. "That laugh betrayed us. Stay and meet them. I cannot." And Jean darted out upon the lawn. Coventry followed, for the thought of confronting so many eyes, so many questions, daunted him, and he fled like a coward. Hi, Redman. Hello. Sorry, I know I'm missing some questions as I read. Hi, Joel. Yeah, we're reading a book. This is live, though. This is not pre-recorded. Hi Jenna, hello. Oh man, poor Lucia Beaufort. Gerald does not want to marry her. No, Artax. Lucia does not know the truth. She is just jealous. She's just jealous. Hi, Brian. Hello. Okay. We're not done the chapter yet, but we're probably getting close. Okay. The sound of Jean's flying footsteps guided him, and he overtook her just as she paused behind a rose thicket to take breath. Oh my god, Linchu. Right. Twitch chat is so well behaved. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for your help.
Faint-hearted knight, you should have stayed and covered my retreat. Hark, they are coming. Hide, hide, she panted, half in fear, half in merriment, as the gay pursuers rapidly drew near. Kneel down. The moon is coming out, and the glitter of your embroidery will betray you, whispered Jean, as they cowered behind the roses. Your arms and hair will betray you. Come under my plaidie, as the song says. And Coventry tried to make his velvet cloak cover the white shoulders and fair locks. We are acting our parts in reality now. How Bella will enjoy the thing when I tell her, said Jean, as the noises died away. Do not tell her, whispered Coventry. And why not? She asked, looking up into the face so near her own, with an artless glance. Can you not guess why? You are so proud that you cannot bear to be laughed at. It is not that. It is because I do not want you to be annoyed by silly tongues. You have enough pain. You have enough to pain you without that. I am your friend now, and I will do my best to prove it. So kind. So kind. How can I thank you? Murmured Jean, and she involuntarily nestled closer under the cloak that sheltered both. Involuntarily. Neither spoke for a moment, and in the silence the rapid beating of two hearts was heard. To drown the sound, Coventry said softly, Are you frightened? No. I like it, she answered as softly, then added abruptly, But why do we hide? There is nothing to fear. It is late. I must go. You are kneeling on my train. Please rise. Why in such haste? Well, this flight and surge only adds to the charm of the evening. I'll not get up yet. Will you have a rose, Jean? No, I will not. Let me go, Mr. Coventry, I insist. There has been enough of this folly. You forget yourself. She spoke imperiously, flung off the cloak, and put him from her. He rose at once, saying, like one waking suddenly from a pleasant dream, I do indeed forget myself. Here the sound of voices broke on them, nearer than before. Pointing to a covered walk that led to the house, he said, in his usually cool, calm tone, Go in that way. I will cover your retreat. And turning, he went to meet the merry hunters. Half an hour later, when the party broke up, Miss Muir joined them in her usual quiet dress, looking paler, meeker, and sadder than usual. Coventry saw this, though he neither looked at her nor addressed her. Lucia saw it also, and was glad that the dangerous girl had fallen back into her proper place again, for she had suffered much that night. She appropriated her cousin's arm as they went through the park, but he was in one of his taciturn moods, and all her attempts at conversation were in vain. Why do you guys keep talking about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky? Like, is not at all a parallel to this story at all.
she was like younger and he's in a position of power. He thinks that Miss Muir is a 19-year-old governess, but she's actually like a 30-year-old actress that is intentionally fucking him over with her acting skills. It's a very different situation, very different power balance. Like, not at all the same situation. Jean Muir is not a victim in this. Monica Lewinsky was. Jean Muir is not. Very different situation. Okay. You were looking for historical documentaries to fall asleep to? I'm sure there are many of them out there. All right. Okay. Miss Muir walked alone, singing softly to herself as she followed in the dusk. Was Gerald so silent because he listened to that fitful song? Lucia thought so, and felt her dislike rapidly deepening to hatred. When the young friends were gone, and the family were exchanging good nights among themselves, Jean was surprised by Coventry's offering his hand, for he had never done it before, and whispering as he held it, though Lucia watched him all the while, "I have not given my advice yet." "Thanks. I no longer need it. I've decided for myself." "May I ask how?" "To brave my enemy." "Oh, good. But what decided you so suddenly?" "The finding of a friend." And with a grateful glance, she was gone. End of chapter. Oh my goodness. Okay, when we think about the fact that when she first arrived, Gerald was like, just wanted to avoid being in the same room with her. Like, she has played him so skillfully. Okay, you guys. We are gonna read another chapter because I am hoping to finish this on Tuesday. And we read 3 chapters last stream. We've read 2 so far. I'd like to read another one, and then there will be 3 left for Tuesday. When you have the author, true. But I am gonna take like a 2-minute break to stand up and stretch, and also I'm like really hungry. Skewer, I'll give another little TLDR when I come back. I just want to take a couple minutes to stretch and maybe shove something in my gob. Okay. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Be right back. Hi, Red Boy. Hello. All right. Heck yeah. Should we read another chapter? I'm getting a bit of a headache setting in, so I just took something, and hopefully it will dissipate. It took over 100 years for scholars to realize that A.M. Bernard was just Louisa May Alcott writing as a man. Can I yes, I can. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for letting me know. Don't worry about that. Artax, thank you for the 101 bits. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Okay. It has Artax. I'm so pleased with it so far. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oof. Neck crack. Okay. Let's jump back in, shall we? So, little TLDR for anyone who has joined in since the last time I gave a TLDR. Jean Weir is a governess who has been hired by the Coventry family to be governess to their 16-year-old daughter Bella. Also living in the house is the mother. The father has died. Bella is the youngest. Edward is the younger son. And then Gerald is the oldest and the heir. Also, their Uncle John is, I guess, a bachelor and living in a separate house on the estate grounds. And then there is Lucia Beaufort, who is their cousin and isn't officially engaged to Gerald, but it's kind of considered to be, they're kind of considered to be betrothed, but she obviously likes him a lot more than he likes her. But Jean Weir is not actually a governess. She's not a 19-year-old governess, she is a 30-year-old actress. And we know she's up to something, but we don't know what. And the family has no idea about any of this, and she is winning them over one by one and kind of getting a bit of power over them. You may have drank it already, Parisia. Yeah, I know, that happens sometimes. It's very confusing. No, she's pretending to be 19. Yeah. And when she first arrives, one of them's like, oh, I thought I heard that from, like, your previous employer that you were, like, 25. And she's like, no, sorry, I think just because I am quiet that I give off, like, an air of maturity, but I'm 19. But she's actually, like, 30. So, anyway. No, Bella is 16, though. The daughter of the family. Yeah. Could make a great film noir, maybe. It would definitely make a good film, like with, actually I was thinking, if it was in the style of, like, okay, I haven't seen this film in a long time, but, Stoker? Has anyone seen Stoker? That, like, really tense, close, like, character cinematography, that could be a cool style to do this story in. Just to, like, really get this tension in there when this otherwise fairly mundane story is going on. Wow, Fatalist, I haven't heard that version of Robbie Burns before. Alright. Alright, let's jump in. One more chapter tonight. And then, assuming I'm still up for streaming, assuming my headache goes away, then we'll do some ASMR. Okay. Chapter 6. On the Watch. "Oh, if you please, Mr. Coventry, did you get the letter last night?" were the first words that greeted the young master as he left his room next morning. "What letter, Dean? I don't remember any," he answered, pausing. For something in the maid's manner— oh, this is a woman asking that first question. Ekleka? I'm probably saying that wrong, but welcome and thank you for the follow. Thank you. "If you please, Mr. Coventry, did you get the letter last night?" were the first words that greeted the young master as he left his room next morning. "What letter, Dean? I don't remember any," he answered, pausing, for something in the maid's manner struck him as peculiar. "Oh, it came just as you left for the hall, sir. Benson ran after you with it, as it was marked haste. Didn't you get it, sir?" asked the woman anxiously. "Yes, but upon my life I forgot all about it till this minute. Well, it's in my other coat, I suppose, if I've not lost it. That absurd masquerading put everything else out of my head." And speaking more to himself than to the maid, Coventry turned back to look for the missing letter. Dean remained where she was, apparently busy about the arrangement of the curtains at the hall window, but furtively watching, meanwhile, with a most unwanted air of curiosity. "Not there? I thought so," she muttered, as Coventry impatiently thrust his hand into one pocket after another. But as she spoke, an expression of amazement appeared in her face, for suddenly the letter was discovered. "Hi, Grans, hello." "I'd have sworn it wasn't there. I don't understand it. But she's a deep one, or I'm much deceived." And Dean shook her head like one perplexed, but not convinced. Coventry uttered an exclamation of satisfaction on glancing at the address, and, standing where he was, tore open the letter. "Dear C, I'm off to Baden. Come and join me, then you'll be out of harm's way. For if you fall in love with J.M., and you can't escape if you stay where she is, you will incur the trifling inconvenience of having your brains blown out. By yours truly, F.R. Sidney." "The man is mad," ejaculated Coventry, staring at the letter while an angry flush rose to his face. "What the deuce does he mean by writing to me in that style? Join him, not I. And as for the threat, I laugh at it. Poor Jean. This headstrong fool seems bent on tormenting her. Well, Dean, what are you waiting for?" he demanded, as if suddenly conscious of her presence. "Oh, nothing, sir. I only stopped to see if you found the letter. Beg pardon, sir." And she was moving on when Coventry asked, with a suspicious look, "What made you think it was lost? You seem to take an uncommon interest in my affairs today." "Oh, dear, no, sir. I felt a bit anxious. Benson is so forgetful. And it was me who sent him after you, for I happened to see you go out, so I felt responsible. Being marked that way, I thought it might be important, so I asked about it." "Very well. You can go, Dean. It's all right, you see." "Oh, I'm not so sure of that," muttered the woman, as she curtsied respectfully and went away, looking as if the letter had not been found. Dean was Miss Beaufort's maid, a grave, middle-aged woman with keen eyes and a somewhat grim air. Having been long in the family, she enjoyed all the privileges of a faithful and favorite servant. She loved her young mistress with an almost jealous affection. She watched over her with the vigilant care of a mother, and resented any attempt at interference on the part of others. At first she had pitied and liked Jean Weir, then distrusted her, and now heartily hated her as the cause of the increased indifference of Coventry toward his cousin. Dean knew that the depth of Lucia's love, and though no man in her eyes was worthy of her mistress, still, having honored him with her regard, Dean felt bound to like him, and the late change in his manner disturbed the maid almost as much as it did the mistress. She watched Jean narrowly, causing that amiable creature much amusement, but little annoyance, as yet, for Dean's slow English wit was no match for the subtle mind of the governess. On the preceding night, Dean had been sent up to the hall with costumes, and had there seen something which much disturbed her. She began to speak of it while undressing her mistress, but Lucia, being in an unhappy mood, had so sternly ordered her not to gossip that the tale remained untold, and she was forced to bide her time. Hi, Amit. Thank you. Now we'll see how she looks after it, though there's not much to be got out of her face. The deceitful hussy, thought Dean, marching down the corridor and knitting her black brows as she went. Good morning, Mrs. Dean. I hope you are none the worse for last night's frolic. He who had the work and we the play, said a blithe voice behind her, and turning sharply, she confronted Miss Muir. Fresh and smiling, the governess nodded with an air of cordiality which would have been irresistible with anyone but Dean. "Oh, I'm quite well, thank you, miss," she returned coldly, as her keen eye fastened on the girl as if to watch the effect of her words. "I had a good rest when the young ladies and gentlemen were at supper. While the maids cleaned up, I sat in the little anteroom." "Yes, I saw you, and feared you'd take cold. Very glad you didn't. How is Miss Beaufort? She seemed rather poorly last night," was the tranquil reply, as Jean settled the little frills about her delicate wrists. The cool question was a return shot for Dean's hint that she had been where she could oversee the interview between Coventry and Miss Muir. Lucy is just jealous, yeah. She is a bit tired, as any lady would be after such an evening. Well, people who are used to play acting wouldn't mind it, perhaps, but Miss Beaufort don't enjoy romps as much as some do. The emphasis upon certain words made Dean's speech as impertinent as she desired, but Jean only laughed, and as Coventry's step was heard behind them, she ran downstairs, saying blandly, but with a wicked look, "I won't stop to thank you now, lest Mr. Coventry should bid me good morning, and so increase Miss Beaufort's indisposition." Dean's eyes flashed as she looked after the girl with a wrathful face, and went her way, saying grimly, "I'll bide my time, but I'll get the better of her yet." Fancying himself quite removed from last night's absurdity, yet curious to see how Jean would meet him, Coventry lounged into the breakfast room with his usual air of listless indifference. A languid nod and murmur was all the reply he vouchsafed to the greetings of cousin, sister, and governess, as he sat down and took up his paper.
Nimbus? Nim, there's no need for that. You can calm down. There's no need to be rumble-strutting. You're fine.
Okay, we got some rumble strutting going on. Yeah, Nim is also being impertinent, it's true. Okay, so that's an interesting statement from Mrs. Dean. The thing she said about play acting, it's almost like she knows that Jean is an actress. But if she, knew, then you know she would have said something about it, right? So, I don't really know what's going on there. Nimbus is causing some problems, yeah. Okay.
"Have you had a letter from Ned?"
asked Bella, looking at the note which her brother still held. No, was the brief answer.
Well, who then? You look as if you had received bad news.
There was no reply, and peeping over his arm, Bella caught sight of the seal and exclaimed, in a disappointed tone,
What is the Sydney crest? Well, I don't care about the note now. Men's letters to each other are not interesting.
Miss Muir had been quietly feeding one of Edward's dogs, but at the name she looked up and met Coventry's eyes, coloring so distressfully that he pitied her. Why he should take the trouble to cover her confusion, he did not stop to ask himself, but seeing the curl of Lucia's lip, he suddenly addressed her with an air of displeasure. Do you know that Dean is getting impertinent? She presumes too much on her age and your indulgence, and forgets her place.
What has she done?
Asked Lucia coldly. She troubles herself about my affairs, takes it upon herself to keep Benson in order. Here Coventry told about the letter, and the woman's evident curiosity.
Poor Dean. She gets no thanks for reminding you of what you had forgotten. Next time she will leave your letters to their fate, and perhaps it will be as well, if they have such a bad effect upon your temper, Gerald.
Lucia spoke calmly, but there was an angry color in her cheek as she rose and left the room. Coventry looked much annoyed, for on Jean's face he detected a faint smile, half pitiful, half satirical, which disturbed him more than his cousin's insinuation. Bella broke the awkward silence by saying, with a sigh,
Poor Ned. I do so long to hear again from him. I thought a letter had come for some of us. Dean said she saw one bearing his writing on the hall table yesterday.
She seems to have a mania for inspecting letters. I won't allow it. Who was the letter for, Bella? Said Coventry, putting down his paper.
Oh, she wouldn't or couldn't tell, but looked very cross and told me to ask you.
Very odd. I've had none, began Coventry.
But I had one several days ago. Will you please read it? And my reply?
And as she spoke, Jean laid 2 letters before him. Certainly not. It would be dishonorable to read what Ned intended for no eyes but your own. We're too scrupulous in one way, and not enough so in another, Miss Muir. And Coventry offered both the letters with an air of grave decision, which could not conceal the interest and surprise he felt. Hybrid Heathen, thank you for the follow. Also, EPK24, thank you also for the follow. Welcome in.
You are right. Mr. Edward's note should be kept sacred, for in it the poor boy has laid bare his heart to me. But mine, I beg you will read, that you may see how well I try to keep my word to you. Oblige me in this, Mr. Coventry. I have a right to ask it of you.
So urgently she spoke, so wistfully she looked, that he could not refuse, and, going to the window, read the letter. It was evidently an answer to a passionate appeal from the young lover, and was written with consummate skill. As he read, Gerald could not help thinking, if this girl writes in this way to a man whom she does not love, with what a world of power and passion would she write to one whom she did love? And this thought kept returning to him as his eye went over line after line of wise argument, gentle reproof, good counsel, and friendly regard. Here and there a word, a phrase, betrayed what she had already confessed, and Coventry forgot to return the letter as he stood wondering who was the man whom Jean loved. The sound of Bella's voice recalled him, for she was saying, half kindly, half petulantly,
Don't look so sad, Jean. Ned will outlive it, I dare say. You remember you said once men never died of love, though women might. In his one note to me he spoke so beautifully of you, and begged me to be kind of you for his sake, that I tried to be with all my heart, though if it was anyone but you, I really think I should hate them for making my dear boy so unhappy.
You are too kind, Bella, and I often think I'll go away to relieve you of my presence, but
Unwise and dangerous as it is to stay, I haven't the courage to go. I've been so happy here." And as she spoke, Jean's head dropped lower over the dog as it nestled to her affectionately. Before Bella could utter half the loving words that sprang to her lips, Coventry came to them with all languor gone from his face and mien, and laying Jean's letter before her, he said, with an undertone of deep feeling in his usually emotionless voice, "A right womanly and eloquent letter, but I fear it will only increase the fire it was meant to quench. I pity my brother more than ever now." "Shall I send it?" asked Jean, looking straight up at him like one who had entire reliance on his judgment. "Yes, I have not the heart to rob him of such a sweet sermon upon self-sacrifice. Shall I post it for you?" "Thank you. In a moment." And with a grateful look, Jean dropped her eyes, produced her little purse. She selected a penny, folded it in a bit of paper, and then offered both letter and coin to Coventry, with such a pretty air of business that he could not control a laugh. "So you won't be indebted to me for a penny? What a proud woman you are, Miss Muir." "I am. It's a family failing." And she gave him a significant glance, which recalled to him the memory of who she was. He understood her feeling and liked her the better for it, knowing that he would have done the same had he been in her place. It was a little thing, but if done for effect, it answered admirably, for it showed a quick insight into his character on her part, and betrayed to him the existence of a pride in which he sympathized heartily. He stood by Jean a moment, watching her as she burnt Edward's letter in the blaze of the spirit lamp under the urn. "Why do you do that?" he asked involuntarily. "Because it is my duty to forget," was all her answer. "Can you always forget when it becomes a duty?" "I wish I could. I wish I could." She spoke passionately, as if the words broke from her against her will, and, rising hastily, she went into the garden, as if afraid to stay. It is a very interesting book, Hybrid Heathen. The Raven! Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Raven. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I hope you enjoy the emotes. You need every single one of them. Heck yeah. Well, we do have some good Corvid emotes in there, which, just going off of your name, you might be into that. Yeah. Poor dear Jean is very unhappy about something, but I can't discover what it is. Last night I found her crying over a rose, and now she runs away, looking as if her heart was broken. Glad I've got no lessons. What kind of a rose? Asked Coventry from behind his paper, as Bella paused. A lovely white one. It must have come from the hall. We've none like it. I wonder if Jean was ever going to be married, and lost her lover, and felt sad because the flower reminded her of bridal roses. Coventry made no reply, but felt himself change countenance as he recalled the little scene behind the rose hedge, where he gave Jean the flower which she had refused, yet taken. Presently, to Bella's surprise, he flung down the paper, tore Sydney's note to atoms, and rang for his horse with an energy which amazed her. Why, Gerald, what has come over you? One would think Ned's restless spirit had suddenly taken possession of you. What are you going to do? I'm going to work, was the unexpected answer, as Coventry turned toward her with an expression so rarely seen on his fine face. What has waked you up all at once? Asked Bella, looking more and more amazed. You did, he said, drawing her toward him. I? When? How? Do you remember saying once that energy was better than beauty in a man, and that no one could respect an idler? I never said anything half so sensible as that. Jean said something like it once, I believe, but I forgot. Are you tired of doing nothing at last, Gerald? Yes, I neglected my duty to Ned till he got into trouble, and now I reproach myself for it. It's not too late to do other neglected tasks, so I'm going at them with a will. Don't say anything about it to anyone, and don't laugh at me, for I'm in earnest, Bella. I know you are, and I admire and love you for it, my dear old boy, cried Bella enthusiastically, and she threw her arms about his neck and kissed him heartily. What will you do first? She asked, as he stood thoughtfully smoothing the bright head that leaned upon his shoulder, with that new expression still clear and steady in his face. I'm going to ride over the whole estate and attend to things, as the master should, and not leave it all to Bent, of whom I've heard many complaints, but have been too idle to inquire about them. I shall consult Uncle, and endeavour to be all that my father was in his time. Is that a worthy ambition, dear? Oh, Gerald, let me tell Mamma. It will make her so happy. You are her idol, and to hear you say such things, to see you look so like dear Papa, would do more for her spirits than all the doctors in England. Wait till I prove what my resolution is worth. When I have really done something, then I'll surprise Mamma with a sample of my work. Of course, you'll tell Lucia? Not on any account. It is a little secret between us, so keep it till I give you leave to tell it. Oh, but Jean will see it at once. She knows everything that happens. She is so quick and wise. Do you mind her knowing? Well, I don't see that I can help it if she is so wonderfully gifted. Let her see what she can. I don't mind her. Now, I'm off. And with a kiss to his sister, a sudden smile on his face, Coventry sprang upon his horse and rode away at a pace which caused the groom to stare after him in blank amazement. Nothing more was seen of him till dinner time, when he came in, so exhilarated by his brisk ride and busy morning that he found some difficulty in assuming his customary manner, and more than once astonished the family by talking animatedly on various subjects, which till now had always seemed utterly uninteresting to him. Lucia was amazed, his mother delighted, and Bella could hardly control her desire to explain the mystery. But Jean took it very calmly and regarded him with the air of one who said, I understand, but you will soon tire of it. This nettled him more than he would confess, and he exerted himself to silently contradict that prophecy. Hi, Zach. Hello. Good to see you. Also, Deuces on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. The horse is fine, you guys. The horse is okay. Have you answered Mr. Sidney's letter? Asked Bella, when they were all scattered about the drawing room after dinner. No, answered her brother, who was pacing up and down with restless steps, instead of lounging near his beautiful cousin. I ask because, well, I remembered that Ned sent a message for him in my last note, as he thought you would know Sidney's address. Here it is, something about a horse. Please put it in when you write. And Bella laid the note on the writing table nearby. I'll send it at once and have done with it, muttered Coventry, and seating himself, he dashed off a few lines, sealed and sent the letter, and then resumed his march, eyeing the three young ladies with three different expressions as he passed and repassed. Lucia sat apart, feigning to be intent upon a book, and her handsome face looked almost stern in its haughty composure, for though her heart ached, she was too proud to own it. Bella now lay on the sofa, half asleep, a rosy little creature as unconsciously pretty as a child. Miss Muir sat in the recess of a deep window, in a low, lounging chair, working at an embroidery frame with a graceful industry pleasant to see. Hi,
Hi, Phantom Shadow. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Hello, hello. You've come from the forest to haunt my stream. Heck yeah. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream tonight? What were you getting up to? Also, damn it, are there kissing? Yes. Lucia and Gerald are not officially engaged, but it's kind of, it's long been expected that they would marry, and yes, they are cousins, but that was fairly common back then, and I believe is still like legal. It still happens occasionally in England, but yeah. Yeah, you guys make sure to drop a follow and check out Phantom Shadow. How was, what were you guys doing tonight? Yes, the pigs are being, uppity. Sorry, you guys, hold on. I think I feel like I'm fainting. Hold on. Sorry. I'm not trying to be dramatic here. Sorry. That was very weird. Yeah, I think I need a quick break. I feel like my arms are going numb. Hold on. Oh. Break. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. Sorry, that was very dramatic. I don't know if I'm okay. I've got a pounding headache. It's spread, and I am hydrating. Thank you, Dim. Yeah, I have been hydrating, but I just like threw up a little bit. I don't know. It wasn't just like blacking out or being lightheaded. I don't know if you guys have fainted before, but it's like that cold feeling down your arms, like I don't know, like your limbs go cold. Toasty, you're here. I hate to end I hate to end mid chapter. I don't know what that was. I'm kind of worried. I don't know what that was, but I should probably go lie down. I'm so sorry. I was planning to do a longer stream tonight with ASMR. I don't know what caused that. Really sorry. I'm sorry. Migraine, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Let me try to wrap up. I'm having trouble, like, stringing my thoughts together right now, but let's try to wrap up, okay? Let me end things on YouTube first. I'm so sorry to end mid-chapter. I will try to pick up with that on Tuesday. The plan is to do a stream tomorrow night, like Monday night, for Mythology Monday, and then Tuesday night finish this book. Obviously, that's assuming that I'm feeling okay. Thank you to everyone who watched on YouTube. Thank you so much. Hopefully we will still be able to finish this book on Tuesday. We'll see how it goes, okay? Alright, sorry for the abrupt, weird end. I will talk to you guys later.